So do you also use Wix and Slack for your business? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to notify team on Slack for Wix Forms submission. So over here I'm running a travel agency and we use Wix Forms to get the travel inquiries from our potential clients. So now what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made, which is as soon as we receive a new travel inquiry, automatically my team on Slack should be notified about the new inquiry received. So to do this, we are going to create a connection between Wix and Slack. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So do you also wish to learn this process step by step? Then let me take you to my computer screen.
Welcome to my screen, everyone. So as you know that you are here to learn about how to notify team on Slack for Wix Forms submission. So as you know that I'm running a travel agency and we use Wix Forms to capture the inquiries from the potential clients interested in our booking trips, tours or vacation packages. So now what I want is I want to create a connection between Wix and Slack in such a way that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Wix, which is as soon as we receive a new travel inquiry, automatically my team on Slack should be notified for the same. But as you know that Wix and Slack doesn't have any native connection, so in order to connect both of these applications, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. And in order to build this connection, I've already opened the landing page of Pabbly simply by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy. So as soon as we're going to open the landing page of Pabbly, we're going to get two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So if you're a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of stars free every month. But over here, I'm an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in. And as soon as we're going to click on sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here, you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications, which is Wix and Slack. So I'm going to click on access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect's account. And as soon as we're going to click on access now, it is opening my dashboard. And to start with this automation, we are going to click on this button which says create workflow. And now it is asking me for the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here, I want to save my workflow in this folder which is automations, and I want to name my workflow as this, which says how to notify team on Slack for Wix Forms submission, Wix Forms to Slack. And then we are going to click on create. And as soon as we are going to click on create, it is opening the most important window for automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this, you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and actions follow the commands. And as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers. So over here, we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. So by this, you can finally understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by our trigger. And in order to start with our automation, we have to select our trigger application. So for my trigger application, I'm going to select it as Wix Forms because I want that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Wix Forms, automatically my workflow should be triggered. So I'm going to search for Wix Forms and then we are going to select it. And now for the trigger event, we are going to select it as new form submission. So basically, trigger event is the event on which the workflow will start. So here what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made, my workflow should be triggered or started. And as soon as we're going to select the trigger event, it is giving me a webhook URL. So in order to build a connection between our Wix Forms account and our Pabbly's workflow, we're going to use this same webhook URL. So what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this webhook URL and then we're going to follow this step one by one. So it is saying log into your Wix account and go to automations in your site dashboard. Click on add new automation or select an existing automation to edit. So yes, I'm going to follow the same. I'm going to put my Wix Form account right from here, and as you can see that this is my Wix Forms account. And now what we have to do is we have to go on the left side bar and we're going to look for automations. And as you can see the same, so we're going to go on this. And after opening this automations right from here, you can see add new automation. So I'm going to click on this button and now it is asking me to select a template. So no, I don't wish to select a template. So I'm going to click on this button which says start from scratch. So yes, we're going to start from scratch. So I'm going to select it right over here. And now it is asking me to choose the trigger. So again, we are going to select the trigger as Wix Forms right over here and the event as form submitted. And now it is saying select which forms trigger this automation. So I'm going to keep it specific right over here and I'm going to select the form right over here which will trigger this automation, which is this tours and travels. And then we're going to click on OK. And after selecting my form, we're going to move on forward. It is saying limit frequency to, so we don't have to limit it. we are going to move on forward. You have to keep in mind that you have to select your form right over here, which is specific form. Okay, we are going to move on forward. For the action, we are going to select it as sent via webhook, and after selecting this, it is saying request type post. Over here you can see the payload type, and now it is asking me for the target URL. So we're going to paste the URL which we copied from our workflow right over here, and now it is saying all keys and values. So I'm going to select this, and then we're going to click on this activate button, and as soon as we're going to click on this activate button, it is saying give a name to recognize it later. So okay, I'm going to give it the name as Slack right over here, and after entering this, we're going to click on save, and as soon as we're going to click on save right over here, yes, you can see your new automation is now active. Over here you can see a new automation named Slack has been activated right over here, and as soon as we're going to do so, yes, with this we have successfully completed a connection between our Wix Forms and our Pabbly's workflow. But now it is saying waiting for a response, and in the notes it is saying do a test submission / record. So in order to test this webhook URL, or in order to capture this webhook response, we have to do a test submission, where what we have to do is we have to submit the form with the dummy details. Okay, so I'm going to open my form right from here. So this is the form I connected right now with my workflow, and I'm going to do the test submission for the same form. So it is saying first name I'm going to keep it as demo, last name as user, email as demo@pabblytudes.com. For the phone number, I'm going to keep it as this only. For the city, we are going to keep it as Bhopal, and now it is asking me for the preferred departure, so I'm going to keep it as 20th of November, and for the return 23rd of November. For the number of travelers, I'm going to keep it as 8, and now after entering this, we're going to click on submit, and as soon as we're going to click on submit, it is saying thank you for submitting. So yes, with this we have successfully did the test submission, and now what has happened is that Wix Forms has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. So I'm going to open my workflow and check that if Pabbly has captured the response for the same or not. So I'm going to open my workflow, and yes, you can see that Pabbly has captured the response for the same. Over here you can see all the details, right? Over here you can see the number of travelers, you can see the preferred return, preferred departure, you can see the traveling city, you can see the phone, the email, the first name, the last name. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step, and now what will happen is that as soon as the new form submission is made in my Wix, automatically my workflow would be triggered. So now we're going to move on towards our action step, and now for my action application, we are going to select it as Slack because I want to send automated notification alerts on my Slack, right? So I'm going to select it right over here, and now for the action event, we are going to select it as send channel message, and then click on connect. And as soon as we're going to click on connect, it is asking me to add a new connection or select the existing connection. So if you have already connected your Slack account with your Pabbly's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and then we have to click on this button which says connect with Slack. And as soon as we are going to click on this button, it is asking me for the token type, and in the help text it is saying enter the token type as either user or bot. To learn more about this token type, we are going to click on this learn more hyperlink right over here, and as soon as we're going to click on this hyperlink, it is redirecting me to the forum of Pabbly, and over here we are going to receive all the details in which we can differentiate between the bot token and the user token. Over here you can see all the differentiations. You can select your preferred right over here, which is the token type. I'm going to select it as bot and click on save, and as soon as we are going to click on save right over here, it is going to ask me for some permissions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this allow and give Pabbly all the permissions it is asking for, because my data is secure with Pabbly. You can also click on allow Pabbly save, and as soon as we're going to click on allow, yes, you can see authorization successful. We have successfully connected our Slack account with our Pabbly's workflow, and now it is asking me for the channel, in which channel I want to send the messages or the alerts. So over here my channel is new lead alerts, so I'm going to select the same right over here, which is new leads and then alerts. So I'm going to select the same, and as you can see the same, so we are going to select it, and now it is asking me for the message. So I want the message to be this, which says new travel inquiry received, name, email, phone, destination, travel dates, and number of travelers. So yes, as you can see that I haven't mapped the lead details right over here, but I'm going to enter it right now. So yes, I'm not going to enter the lead details manually, but instead we're going to map it. So you must be wondering what is mapping. So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step, and as you know, our previous step was the trigger step where we selected Wix Forms as our trigger application. So we're going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only. To let you know about mapping, simply I'm going to give you an example that it is asking me for the name, right? So let's suppose that we're going to map the name right over here of our lead, which is demo user. Then this will not change with every new response received because this is a static information and we have entered it manually. But if we're going to map this from the previous response, suppose I'm going to look for name in the previous response, and as you can see the name which is demo and then user. So let's suppose that we're going to map this from the previous response, then this will definitely change because my previous response will also change. So that's why we do mapping right over here to run our workflow in real time. So same, we are going to map the email too. I'm going to look for email email right over here in the previous response, and as you can see the email, so we're going to map it. We're going to map the phone number too. I'm going to look for phone in the previous response, and as you can see the phone number, so we're going to map it. Over here we're going to map the destination. I'm going to look for destination in the previous response, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. And now it is asking for the departure date. So yes, I'm going to map the departure date to right over here. I'm going to look for departure date right over here in the previous response, and as you can see that this is the preferred departure date, so we're going to map it. We're going to map the preferred return date too. I'm going to open the previous response, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. It is saying number of travelers, so we're going to map that to right over here. I'm going to look for it in the previous response, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. And after mapping all of these details, we're going to move on forward right over here, and then we're going to click on this button which says save and send test request. As you can see that I've left all of these fields blank because these were not the required fields. So I'm going to click on this button which says save and send test request, and yes, you can see that we have successfully received an positive response, that we have successfully sent a channel message in our Slack with the same details which we received from our Wix forms. So I'm going to open my Slack and check for the message sent, and yes, you can see that we have successfully received a new message which says new travel inquiry received, name, email, phone, destination, travel dates, and the number of travelers. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, and now I'll just summarize this workflow for you once. So for the trigger application we selected Wix Forms, for the trigger event we selected new form submission, for the action application we selected Slack, and then for the action event we selected send channel message. And now what will happen is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Wix Forms, automatically Pabbly is going to capture the response, trigger the workflow, and send a channel message into my Slack. Without any manual efforts, this workflow will run in backend. So yes, this was it for the video, and if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box so that you can access my workflow. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching.
So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.